In this video, we're going to be talking about some other methods of marketing. These will be some more traditional and some untraditional methods. First, I'll talk about our postcards. Now, we did postcards a couple years ago and actually worked out very well and led up to maybe $1 million worth of revenue. Not in 1 year, but we sent about a couple thousand postcards out. It went to a nice neighborhood. We got a call, got the job, about a $5,000 or $6,000 job. We ended up doing work for them a couple years later, and they had a builder, and then we connected with that builder, and that builder's been feeding us work for them, for the last 5 or 6 years, and we've done quite a bit of business with them. So you never know where any type of marketing activity is going to lead. So I'll start with postcards. They're pretty easy to do. Your percentage rate that you'll probably get on return calls would be 1 to 3%. It really depends on what you're sending out. Maybe 5% if you're lucky. And on your postcards, you just want to make sure you have it look good, have your contact info, and then some type of incentive for people to call. Say, hey, call within the next 30 days and get 10% off, get a free whatever would make sense for whatever industry you're in. Some type of, time pressure things to get people to call, and then some like call to action and an incentive. I liked Vistaprint. It's a good place to get things designed, and there's plenty of other postcard sites that you can use as well. So that's one method we like to use. You can also use yard signs. Now, yard signs might not get you the most qualified leads. A lot of times you'll get a neighbor who is just kind of kicking the tires and wants to kind of see what their neighbor is paying to get whatever it is done. So that's what we found. But it's a great way to get some, brand recognition, where if you're working in a neighborhood over a period of time, or you work for a couple neighbors over, a few months, people start saying, oh, I saw Vassar Painting, I know you guys. Another method that will work better for some industries than others, but will get you some recognition, are yard signs. Now, if you're doing anything exterior, say paving, tree work, landscaping, exterior work on a home or building, they would work great because you can see the results. If it's on the inside of a house or a building, people might not see it. So the calls you get from these signs might not be the most qualified depending on what industry you're in. We found that it's a lot of times neighbors just trying to kick the tires, so to speak, to see how much their neighbor is paying for whatever service it is. It's like, hey, can you price out this or price out that? And then you never hear back from them. But especially if you're doing, paving, tree work, I think that could be a really good source, and it's pretty free. It's free advertising. All you have to do is ask the client, say, hey, could I put a yard sign in your yard and keep it there for a week or two? They're very inexpensive to get. Most clients are fine with it, and you can also offer, when you're doing the pricing, say, hey, if you put a yard sign up, I'll take off $20, $50, or whatever it be, but then you don't have to tell them that you added $50 to the price in expectation they would let you do it. So, don't tell them that I told you to do that, but that's what you can do. Where you can have the yard signs made there's so many sites that are all online. Just type in yard signs and then pick something you like. There's a lot of sites out there. I haven't done this in a little bit, so I couldn't give you the best recommendation, but there's plenty out there, and you can definitely find some for pretty inexpensive pricing. Another method that's great to use are websites. They're very inexpensive to build, very easy to maintain, and it's a great way for people to find you. In the contracting and service industry, most people aren't going to a website first to find somebody. Usually that's more for online types of businesses. But what's great for is when you've worked for someone in the past, they've lost your contact info and they're trying to find you, or they refer you to a friend who lost your number. They'll type in Vassar Painting, your page pops up, and then you have your contact info. For us, we basically have a one-page landing page, and we didn't even put our phone number on there because we were getting some spam calls, but we did get a lot of emails, and we will find people who find us, email us, it feeds to our email account, and that's been a great way to keep in contact with clients, and they can keep in contact with us. Some sites that we like are Squarespace. That's where we have ours. Very easy to build, very easy to maintain. And then Wix.com. That's a good one. And also, I like WordPress, which is a more powerful website builder, but it's a little more complicated. So if you have skills in this area or want to have someone build you one or more elaborate web presence, that's a great place to start. The last thing we'll talk about are a few websites that you may find helpful, and I know some guys who have used some of these sites and done pretty well with them. These sites would be like Angie's List, Home Advisor, Thumbtack, and Craigslist. These sites may change over the years, and there might be new ones that might be even better, so it's always worth checking out. And what's interesting about these sites is to get into them, you don't need to have that much experience. Pretty much if you have a pulse and insurance, you'll probably get approved. And I mean, unless they're changing their vetting process, but one time we got a review on Angie's List by a client. We didn't ask him to. Real nice review. And then we got hounded by Angie's List, I guess, salespeople who were trying to get us to sign up and try to pay for their monthly fee. And we didn't need any of the work, so we just politely declined, but they kept calling until we had to block their phone calls. But what they're looking for in Angie's List is it's a monthly fee, and then you pay some to advertise your service, so you can pay money, and then you'll get higher up in their feeds. And you'll have Home Advisor, and you pay for the lead for Home Advisor. So how that works is someone comes and say, hey, I want my exterior of my house painted. They do it in Home Advisor. They send your info out to 3 different painters, and then the painters pay for the lead. They say maybe $20 to $30, depends on how big the project is, and then those contractors would call, the homeowner and then give out pricing and do it that way. And another one is Thumbtack, and you pay for the lead, I believe, just like Home Advisor. And then finally you have Craigslist, which is free. I'm just not sure of the quality of leads that you would find on Craigslist. You might get some interesting characters calling you, but it is another way to get yourself out there. And what I have seen with these services is that you can get business. You might be competing against 1 or 2 other contractors for most of these bids, since these people don't know you. It's not a referral. They will see if you want to be a presence on there. I would encourage you to try to build up your reviews. You could even do a free job for a buddy of yours or a friend, small job, and then they can write you a review just because you did work for them. And I would suggest just always to be honest and not just have fake reviews go up, because they frown upon that, and it's just dishonest business, and we're trying to stay honest. But that's a way, and I know one of our contractor friends was using Home Advisor for 6 or 7 years and was getting some good quality leads. He was making some good money, and he just found that over time some of the leads deteriorated in the quality, where people were just price shopping, and then there was more contractors getting the leads. I don't know how it is now. I don't use those services personally, but if I really need to drum up some work, it'd be worth throwing a few shekels and seeing if it'd be worth drumming up some business. And those are some ways to get some more business.